Hello, beautiful ladies. Today's topic is this is why 80% of relationships don't last. All right, let's make myself look bad and learn from my mistakes, shall we? All right, first I'm going to tell you the answer to why they all don't last. Or why 80% don't last. Here it is. We are terrible at picking partners. And everything in our body, in our brain, in our heart that seems logical to us, that allows us to pick our partner, is not really guiding us in the right direction all the time. Specifically, chemistry. That word, chemistry, gets in the freaking way. So chemistry directs us to who we pick a lot of the time. And let me explain to you how this happens. All right, I'm on a second date. And I am aware that chemistry can sway decisions. So I'm trying to be careful. I have come into my head that I am not going to kiss this woman, even though we've had a Zoom date, a phone call, and another date that went amazingly well. And trust me, I really want to kiss this woman. But I've decided I need to slow down on everything because I want to just keep getting to know her, and it's going so well. So here's what happens. We go on a hike. And we go up to the top of this peak, and it's got this amazing view of downtown LA and just like all of LA. It's got a 360-degree view, and we've hiked far enough where there's not many people around. Or actually there's zero people around it where we've gotten to. And it's pretty romantic, I'm going to be honest. And so I do decide to come up behind her and hold her a little bit at the top of this peak. And that was going to be it for me. But what does she do? I'm behind her. So it's not that threatening. There's going to be no kiss. Her face is that way. We're not there. She does a 180 and now is inches from me. And, I'm not an idiot. This woman wants a kiss. And so as the people pleaser in me and as a male that was wildly attracted to her, what do? We kiss. And we kiss for a little while. And later she did tell me that she was a woman on a mission and she knew at the top of the peak she was getting that kiss. She wanted it. So much so that she probably even wanted it at the end of our first date when I walked her to her car. But so now she was definitely getting what she wanted. Anyway. Date continues. I royally mess up this hike. I do another video on this, and we'll link it up if you want to learn more about the story. Royally mess up this hike. We end up getting lost, blah, blah, blah. It almost feels like we're going to die. It really bonds us. It's a pretty thrilling date for us. We go home, and now we hook up a little bit. We don't fully finish everything. It's just a nice hookup. And what happens? I talked about this in another video where a man who's looking for a relationship is on the emotional side and trying to get to know everything about you. Well, the male monkey brain that gets stimulated, who's on the emotional side, comes over to the physical side. And now all he can think about, because men are single focused, is receiving that sexual gratification. And I'm sure you've all felt this from a man where he kind of tips over, where it's like, this is all he wants now. Now, she had good boundaries and didn't want to have sex yet, which was perfectly fine. But now I still had that single focus where now I really wanted her. And so fast forward to the next date. At some point, we decide to have sex. And it's still pretty early in getting to know each other. So, what happens here? The whole time I really liked her. We have sex by, I guess you could call this the third, fourth date, or depending on COVID Zoom rules, whatever you want to call it, somewhere between 3 and 5 dates. Um, which, according to my rules, if you've been watching me, I suggest you don't have sex this early. So I'm breaking my rules. Not good, Mike. So we have sex, and I'm still wildly into this woman, and I'm relationship oriented, and there was no way in heck I was going away at this point. I was still going to court her. But now we've got this bonding hormone in us that is clouding our judgment, and we've got this massive amount of chemistry. So we've got oxytocin, we're bonding, we've got chemistry through the roof. But what about compatibility? It's actually there too. So we continue to see each other and end up seeing each other quite a lot. But because now we're at a place where we're having sex, we're allowing chemistry to kind of dictate some of this relationship. And because the chemistry and the sex is there, what happens is I start overlooking things. And I start enjoying the emotion. And we start doing fun dates. We start going skiing. We start going hiking. We go play soccer. We go play tennis. We're playing pickleball. We're doing all these activities that I love and she loves. And we're having a lot of fun, which is great. But then we need to slow down and remove that chemistry mask, which, quite frankly, is very difficult to do when you're in that moment and you're feeling so great with this person when it's been months since you felt this connection with someone, this chemistry connection. So then, finally, after enough dates, I start unraveling what her existence is and where she's at right now. And I realize that she is not working currently. She moved back into her folks' house in her late 30s and didn't really have a career that could, sustain a family or even sustain herself or even provide her living, a place to live. So ultimately, all that eventually alluded to was she was not standing on her own 2 feet, right? And I most certainly am. I have my own place. I have a great job. I have my own money. I have everything. And even if I lost my job, I have enough savings to, pay for housing for a few years, number of years. So I'm in good shape. I've got my friends. I've got my family. I've got everything I could want. So I'm at king status at this point. And she is an amazing woman, but she's not at a place where she's standing on her own 2 feet. And just, as a woman, if you saw a man that wasn't, in his king mode, that had his act together, you dump him like that. Well, it's the same thing for me. She was not in a place at this moment where she's really capable of being a relationship. A relationship, what it's meant to be is when you can take care of yourself, you've got yourself taken care of, you're self-actualized. Two self-actualized people decide that they want to go on a journey together. But she needed to go take care of herself first. She needed to go get her place, go get her job, go get everything sorted. And once things are sorted, a king and a queen can meet. So why am I telling you this story? Is chemistry, which was off the charts, and fun, which was off the charts, and this massive connection with this woman that I hadn't felt in really years, drew me to her and made me blind to what it actually was. So end of the story is I end up breaking up with her, not because I didn't like her, not because I wasn't having a great time with her, but because I needed her to go stand on her own 2 feet and turn into a queen so she could be ready for her king. Which was sad and sucked. But this is why 80% of relationships don't last. When I look at all the relationships that I work with, the hundreds that I've worked with over the years, 80% are because we're staying in the wrong relationship. And maybe up front we're using chemistry to get us into it. And then what could have happened with this woman is I could have stayed in it because we were starting to build memories. We were starting to build a life together. And there was so much good there that I could have just kept living off these memories, off these fun things we did, and kind of put up with that stuff. But most likely, eventually, it would have really gotten to me. So anyway, it would have ended poorly because we didn't have two people that were ready to rock and roll. And so the 80% here is not only this specific scenario, but we pick folks because we haven't felt something in a while, because we're feeling the chemistry, because we're feeling attached, because it's pretty close too. It's pretty close to perfect. Like it's got all these things, but it's not really what we're meant to have. And we're impatient. I haven't felt this in a few years, so I could have just stayed with this like almost there thing, and eventually that would have ended. Or I could have had like a mediocre-ish relationship for the next 50 years. No. My advice is when you are courting and you finally find this amazing person, slow this puppy down. Really get to know each other. Stay on the emotional side. The physical is going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be gangbusters. It's going to be amazing. You don't need to rush. If this is your true partner, that like everything lines up and you're going to be together for the rest of your life, you're going to have plenty of time to have sex. And even if it's been 2 years, 5 years, 10 years since you've had sex, get to this mindset. Visualize. Think about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan closed his eyes and he goes, yep, that's in. Visualize how you're going to end these dates, how you're going to handle these situations. When he wants to have sex, you're going to say, oh, this is the most perfect relationship that I've ever been in so far. I don't want to have sex yet. Like, I would love to have sex with you, but if this thing is going to be what I'm hoping it is, which is going to be a long thing, we got plenty of time. And when we have it, it's going to be great. Practice that. Visualize it. Close your eyes. Feel how that sounds coming out of your mouth and put it in your words. But practice it. So when the time comes, you don't just like bumble it like I did, because I didn't visualize my process and I left my practice and my system because I'm a jackass. Don't make the mistakes that I make. You can be better. You are better. All right. That was a rough one to share. Hope it was helpful. It was pretty raw for me to tell this at the time I'm telling it. Anyway, I love all of you. I hope this video allows you to not have heartbreak because you do things the strategic way. You live in integrity and you only go after these really magnificent matches that are actually going to end in bliss. Don't get impatient. All right. I think I've rambled long enough. I love all of you. Hit like, subscribe to the channel. If you made it this long, you should definitely get on here. I got way more videos for you that will be helpful. Love you. See you next time.